Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. As always, I'm Ari here with Korea. We had a rare 1-0-2 day between the two of us combined. You had the one win, and then we had two pushes. We'll just get to your 1-0-1 day yesterday. What did you see from your two plays?
Royals Twins Nerfy was electric. Obviously, that was a nice, pretty kind of sweat-free winner. Didn't really have to worry about anyone really getting in scoring position. And then obviously the Royals came. Well, it was mostly the Royals. Obviously, I think it was Garcia or someone got on base, and I saw Salvador Perez at the plate, and he was hacking. I was like, oh no, here we go. But he got out of that pretty easily. And if you saw the end of the game, that was a crazy in terms of first five under 4.5. I advised that for some people yesterday. If you had that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was one of the worst beats I've seen all year for baseball. Three-run home run in the bottom of the fifth with 2 outs remaining. But we only had to worry about the 6 outs in the first inning, and that was sweat-free there. So that was a nice winner there with the Royals and Twins. Both guys did their job. That was all we were asking for. And then with the Cubs' first 5, look, I even called it myself. I said Justin Seal is going to go 5 innings scoreless, and that's exactly what he did. But so did the Cubs. So it was like, well, one guy did his job, but the other guy didn't. What the other team didn't do their job. So 1-0-1 day, and Ari, as I know, obviously the Dodgers-Mets game got rained out yesterday. So obviously you had your play push, so you can't really, analyze a game that gets rained out. So, yeah. We'll just move on to today's card. Obviously, Dodgers are playing a doubleheader today, and that's, oh, wow, coincidentally, my first play. Just great transition there. I am taking the Dodgers-Mets over 8 in the first game. That's around minus 102 on DraftKings right now. I'm only targeting the first game right now. The matchups have changed for both games now. So in this first matchup, it's now Tyler Glasnow and Taylor McGill, and I'm taking that over now. We look at Tyler Glasnow, and he has been, at least dominant to an extent. He looks good, but sometimes he doesn't look as good as he was in Tampa. You can't credit maybe new team, new system, whatever. Still kind of getting comfortable, familiarity, whatnot. But I feel like there's some negative regression or negative regression coming his way. Just this year. I mean, we look at his pitching strikeouts. Yes, he's first in strikeouts, but he's allowing, runs to almost every team he's played. I mean, yes, he has faced some pretty decent line like the Braves and the Padres back to back, but 4 runs against, the Reds, 3 runs against Arizona. You kind of start to question, like, maybe against these teams that, that I guess struggle in terms of, pitching a little bit more. He's not, as competitive, or in terms of, the other team who he faces, can hit the ball better in terms of the matchups. And, we look at this Mets team and, they are hitting pretty decently against Glasnow. They hit 220, as a team, and I'm just backing the fact that they're going to, probably try out their better lineup in this game 1. And I'm backing the fact that there are going to be some runs coming his way, but I feel as most of the runs are going to be coming from the Dodgers' way. So I would back the Dodgers on the money line, but I believe the Dodgers, I think, are like 0-4 or something when Tyler Glasnow starts this season, or just on a negative money line stretch. So that's why I'm avoiding the money line right now and just targeting the over. I think there's going to be a lot of runs, and I think a lot of them are going to be coming from the Dodgers. I think you talked about it yesterday, the same matchup, McGill versus this Dodgers team, who have good splits. They can hit the ball well, and after that series, you mentioned it. We talked about it yesterday, that series against the Reds where their offense didn't really show up. I expect them to show up today in game 1, this doubleheader today against the Mets. And that's why I'm taking this over 8 at minus 102. We're getting it for pretty great value. I don't want to take the Dodgers spread, money line, anything related to that, because I just know, Tyler Glasnow starts are, kind of risky, for the Dodgers, which is kind of strange, but I do love this over. I think there are going to be a lot of runs, mostly coming from the Dodgers' way. And I think for that push potential, we're getting it at 8. I think that maybe 7 of those runs could come, from the Dodgers themselves. So I'm taking the Dodgers Mets over 8 in game 1. And then game 2, we're going to go to the Guardians money line here at minus 135. We're getting them for a really good price against the Colorado Rockies. And, if you did see yesterday's game, obviously the Guardians did not win. Obviously, they lost 8-6 on the road. And, their offense, didn't really show up, after the third inning. Obviously, it was mostly. I actually was targeting the Guardians' first 5 team total as a separate play myself over like 2.5, I think it was, and that was easy cash. But the offense didn't show up, and really until the 7th inning when J Ram had, excuse me, Mister I'm better than Barry Bonds. When he had that one run double in the top of the 7th. But I expect them to show out today. I think this is the day that their offense does show out. They are facing Ryan Feltner, one of the worst pitchers in this rotation, in a really bad Rockies rotation. And obviously the game went over yesterday, but this is more of a line reading move here. I saw the first 5 money line, and I saw the Rockies were a little bit favored. So I think I think the books are saying that the Rockies maybe get out to a little bit of a lead, but the Guardians, with their bullpen and how they're one of the better bullpens in baseball, I think they, come back with some kind of, whether it was late inning comeback and get the full out win. So that's why I'm just taking the Guardians. We're getting them for a really good price at -135. So I just want to take the Guardians. I'm backing the better team with the better bullpen through 9 as well. Even with Tristan McKenzie, obviously going to Coors Field, never, it's a pitcher's worst nightmare, honestly. And he doesn't have the best splits against this Rockies lineup. So, even with that, I am backing the Guardians. I feel like their bats will show up in the later half as they did yesterday, but obviously it wasn't enough as the Rockies, poured out 8 runs throughout like those first 5 innings, making, that comeback a little hard to come by. So those are my 2 plays today. The Dodgers-Mets game to go over 8 in game 1, and then the Guardians on the money line at -135 against the Rockies tonight. Ari, what have you cooked up on this Tuesday?
Yeah, I have one MLB play, and we're going to the first WNBA play today. Caitlin Clark, the Fever play the Sparks. The Fever just won their first game of the season in LA, I think like a few days ago, I want to say. And Clark, I think she had, She had 11 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. She's yet to have like a huge game. She's had 3 games of over 20 points, but I think her best is like 22. So she's yet to have one of her it's going to come at some point, like a 30-point game from her. I'm going PRA because of how involved she has been, like every game as a rebounder and as a passer, I guess you can say. If you look at the numbers for the last 5 games, she has at least 7 assists. And then the rebounds, like the last 5 games, she has at least 5 in 4 of them. She has a 10 rebound game, 7, 6, 7. So she's been super active. So I think she can get like 15 plus just RA alone. And then at that point, we only need 16 points. She's kind of been struggling from 3 for most of the season, or like it's pretty much, most games she's been struggling from 3. But she's, back at home where, for the most part, players typically shoot better at home, even though she's still, like 10 games into her career. So you don't really know for sure, what she's good at and whatnot, obviously. But I'm just looking for, like 17 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, something like that, which is basically what she's been averaging. She's been averaging, I guess, 15, 5, and 6. But more recently, she's been more like she kind of got off to a bit. I guess she had 20 points to her first 3 games. So never mind about that. But she's been more active as of late in terms of RA, rebounds, and assists. So I'm just looking for 15 to 16 of those from her, or this could be her first 30-point game. And she could just do that alone. So I think there's different angles that she can hit this in like 3 or 4 different ways. Obviously, still looking for 32 PRA from Caitlin Clark at home against the Sparks today. And then going to the Reds money line, it's Andrew Abbott against Kyle Gibson. Abbott has like a 1.8 ERA in 4 starts so far in May. Just looking for him. The Reds also just swept the Dodgers. I didn't see who won this game yesterday. But either way, the Reds did win yesterday, so they're obviously heating up. Like we talked about when we brought up the Dodgers Reds yesterday. So just looking for Andrew Abbott to continue to deal at home. I considered another prop in that, like looking at Abbott like under 2.5 earned runs, which is plus 100 on DraftKings, and he's given up 200 less in every start in May so far. But just going a little bit safer route with the Reds full game ML to at home to hit Gibson a little bit, and then Abbott to deal like he has been. So those two plays for me today.
I was waiting for the first WNBA prop, and here we are. I love it. Obviously, we're back in obviously the most talked about woman in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, right now. This is a good spot. You mentioned, going back home. Obviously she's been kind of figuring out her role, on the Fever team for a little bit. As why she kind of has been struggling a little bit, in terms of just her ability to shoot the ball and, just figure out, how she fits on that favorite team. But you mentioned it, this could be the game she breaks out 30 and, she has that ability for sure. So I definitely believe that 31.5 PRA is definitely a great number. You mentioned she's averaging 15, like 5 and 6. She has had those games where, like, as you mentioned, she's kind of flirting with a triple double. So I feel like, maybe that today could be that game or, where she breaks out 30 at home against the Sparks. So I do like that over 31.5 PRA at -110 for you. And then the Reds, I was actually looking at the Reds as well. I'm glad you're taking them because I also love the Reds today. You mentioned Andrew Abbott. The Cardinals stink against lefties. I think they're one of the worst teams in baseball against lefties. And we saw it yesterday. I did take the Reds money line yesterday. Because of that, there was a Nick Lodolo day, and I love backing Lodolo at home. And now Andrew Abbott, you mentioned, one of the better pitchers in May, with his ERA. And, Kyle Gibson, he has faced this Reds team before. And, this Reds team, I think they put up like 4 or 5 runs on him. And you mentioned Andrew Abbott on under 2.5 earned runs is pretty much even money right now. I love that right now. I do think that the Cardinals bats pretty much struggle once again, for him because of that. So the Reds money line, but I feel like the Reds money line at -130 is definitely a better price. That was kind of where it was yesterday. And I think, just a repeat of what it was. This team is starting to heat up now. Obviously, we just talked about how they, pretty much swept the Dodgers at home. And now, they're playing a team that can't really hit lefties and, back-to-back games, throwing out Nick Lodolo and Andrew Abbott, 2 really good throwing lefties at home. So I do love both of those plays for you. Caitlin Clark over 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists at pretty much -110. Pick them. And then the Reds money line -130. You're getting it for good value. I love those 2 plays for Ari. And then my 2 plays today, the Dodgers and Mets over 8 in game 1. Make sure it's game 1. Obviously, that's doubleheader today. So the first game starts at about 1:10 Pacific, 4:10 Eastern time. So make sure you get that in pretty soon. You get that at -102. And then the Guardians tonight on the money line against the Rockies at -135. You're getting a good value for the better team. Those are my 2 plays. Obviously, you can find both of these plays and our full card and video on our Twitter below, AKP Sports Talk. But that is going to be doing it for this episode. Ari will be going out of town, and I will be going in a procedure on Thursday. So these next consecutive couple of days, we're going to be absent, but we will try to be back on Friday to wrap up the week and give you guys one more winner, but to wrap up the month of May. Ari, Rome, it's June. Where's flight? It's June. Where's flight? But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's Ari. I'm Korea. Win some money. We will see you guys hopefully on Friday. Peace out, guys.